A very big welcome to you, my dear Gemini, and of course, a very big welcome to those who felt like that this constellation has an inspiration for them as well. When I look at the moon, I see the constellation Gemini behind it, and when I look into the sun, I see the constellation Virgo behind it. If I go the small cycle, which is 365 days or 1 year, that goes from left to right. I place you here, of course, and that is that you are waiting for Gemini to come and you giving him the light to come up to the mountain like you did. If I read the big cycle, which is from right to left, then I place Virgo here, and we place the cards in the left spinning circle the Earth does in itself, that wobble of 25,800 years, which then divided through 12 creates an age. We are in the age of Pisces, moving into the age of Aquarius. So then Virgo is here and has the back to you, meaning he is also highlighting the path, but not anymore into your direction, but now letting you know this is the big circle, this is the big path that we take when we understand that the soul has a different path. Because from right to left, writings or readings are a state of inner consciousness that expresses itself to the outside world, and the left to the right is a state of the outside to the inner world that expresses itself. I do the reading exactly on the day where the moon is in your sign, so I get that feeling of Gemini and all the other signs, of course. And here the combination is that this is mutable, you are mutable, both of them have Mercury as the planet. This is physical, and you are all about the awareness, an awareness that you have to figure out this. Some say it's lover, some say it's, a partner. It's not. It's the conscious, the subconscious, and the higher conscious. And the card number 6 is in the lantern. The number 6 here, the 6-pointed star, the Star of David, one of the oldest symbols, is in the lantern of Virgo. The yoga position that I created for Virgo is the mountain pose with Namaste in the hand. Past and future are looking at each other, and in between already the present moment is being created again and again in this cosmic egg. And for you, I picked one of the most difficult positions, which is King Pigeon. You reaching with the conscious into the subconscious, into the feet. On that, you, by looking deep down, you will discover then the higher conscious, and that's the circle that you create between your feet, your heart, and your spirit, right? So the 3-pointed triangle of one of the triangle here in the hexagram. So your court card is the Knight of Swords. You go and are very clearly pointing into the big cycle. If your birthday is between May 10th and June 9th, this is your court card if it comes up in the reading, right? This is just a demonstration so that you know what your court card looks like. I have reduced from the 22 major arcana into 12 major arcanas. The first 4, 0 to 3, and then your card, the one where Virgo is, or the sun, then the Wheel of Fortune, and again for the next month as a understanding what comes in the next month. And then I have the Moon, the Sun, the Judgment, and the Earth. In your last reading, where the Sun was in Leo, the message is you bring through the 7x3 portal, a strong inspiration to all 12 young zodiac signs. And I remember that it was very interesting because it was literally like all 4 pages came up, and that is each time 3, so 3 times 4 is 12. So you have all the young generation of all the signs that you have an influence over, and that's of course it's a very powerful message to have that influence over. And so I can see that now on the position of the Fool comes the Knight of Pentacles, which is a Virgo, and Virgo is giving you the light into this path. Virgo is saying, yeah, if you connect with the big cycle, with the soul cycle, if you connect with the information that is available for you, then you can go the big cycle and have a new appreciation also for the financial, for the material, for the world, for all the resources the earth is giving us, and so that we can use them in a very respectful way. So it's almost like saying, yeah, begin to respect all creatures, begin to respect earth, begin to respect as much as you can that which gives us the resources, that which gives us the food, that which gives us even the technology, right? If we had not the earth and all that the earth gives us, the earth is the boss. And so for me, I always see this as a sign that you are ready to understand that. On the position of the Magician comes the Wild Woman, the number 26, which is then of course an 8, and the 8 symbol above the Magician is letting you know, yeah, you have access to all the 4 elements. And here you are looking up to the Knight of Pentacles and opening yourself up to this energy and saying, yeah, I am glad you are aware. I am glad that you are taking that path. I am ecstatic, almost like she is then realizing that the natural way of being is coming back, is that you supporting that you are looking at that kind of energy, and that is in your mind, as well as you are magically create your new adventure forward into this big cycle. On the position of the High Priestess, then comes the Fool, the foolish man. Then you have realized, okay, I am ready to take on duality. I am ready to take on the black and white. I am ready to then be able to say, okay, out of duality, I can come into the center, or I can come into the one, right? Which is then in the center is the 3, which is then the next card, the Empress. So here you are, the foolish man with the Hermetic Tarot, just black and white. You are learning to begin a whole new cycle, like literally from the Fool. You are saying, okay, I am taking this path forward into the cycle of the energy to go from right to left, the big spinning circle, not the small one. The small one is the physical, the big one is the spiritual, and you are ready to take on that path. Because, interesting enough, then on the position of the Empress comes the High Priestess. So you have a very interesting combination going on here, right? So you have this wild woman, and you have this new beginning, and still then comes here the High Priestess or La Papesse. These are French cards. That is letting you know, so now you go from 0 back again into the 2, because you're realizing that the 6 in here is your 6, and the 2 in here is the High Priestess that is now coming to you. So you are realizing something by working diligently with the world, by being ready, by accepting that you can take on this path and begin, and they're all looking into the direction of the big cycle. Not one, she's looking up, but her body is facing us, right? So she's looking up to him. There's a conversation. He's literally looking at her. She's looking at him. There's a conversation going on. Now the Fool is looking at her, and she's not looking at him. She is just like, I know what I've got to do. Right? She has here under her chair the dark Sphinx, the bright Sphinx we don't even see. It's almost like we see the wild woman down here. You see that? It's almost like this personality is now here. She's hiding it underneath, and she's now realized through the Knight of Pentacles that yeah, this wild side is good in your head, but now if you want to be successful going forward, you need to somehow be a little conform in the institutions. And it almost feels like women have been pushed a little bit into a system of male conformity. Meanwhile, the female is the wild one, right? The female is always the dark side. The female is the fertile, is the dark side. We need the dark side. Here we have the pillars, the black and the white, and you are deciding not to be between black and neither white. You're deciding to be in this 0, in the neutral, in the new beginning. And then we go from the High Priestess forward into the number 6, and here comes the Page of Swords, which is you. You are connected with the swords, and it's almost like she's looking at the information that she's learning, and she's kind of meeting her, and she is literally waiting for her and saying, child, have a look of how powerful you can be if you understand this information, the yin and the yang symbol. And it's almost like she's intuitively understanding that. She's intuitively knowing that. Because you as the Gemini is about self-awareness. You love to learn everything about self-awareness. So then, if I put the Knight here, then a conversation is starting. If we go to the left spinning cycle, right, from right to left. If we go from left to right, he is passing that. He's almost like saying, yes, I learned whatever I had to learn, now I continue my path. Here's literally like, oh, I gotta stop for a moment and have a look at this young generation. What do they learn? And maybe I gotta slow down. Otherwise, he's just literally running her over. Right? So you see how these cards really beautifully speak to each other. So this is you, right? On your position comes this young generation. And you are an inspiration for the young generation. You can be an inspiration for the young generation. So just have a look. Now, if I continue the big cycle, comes the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is on the position of Virgo. And the Four of Pentacles is Sun in Capricorn. Allow yourself to be stable. Allow to have 1, 2, 3, 4 ideas to bring them into a stability. If I put it here into the 365 cycle, the physical cycle, you are creating these 4 ideas into something stable. The 4, right? That's where you actually can say, all right, I am able to live from these ideas. I'm able to have these ideas. Here it's almost Virgo is saying, yeah, I keep continuing. I keep continuing also here in this direction. Then one is turning around, and here is the Buddha looking at you. So through meditation, through an inner personal work, you're gonna continue to be successful in whatever your ideas come from. And then comes the Rose Garden, the number 9, which is then a 9-9 portal with the Virgo. The number 9 is the Rose Garden in itself. Then you see that you, in this understanding of the wild woman, that you are becoming part of nature, that you are nature, that you creating out of nature your dresses, and you are understanding that the resources need to be more diligently looked at and made money with, right? So if I then go in this direction, then you see that the ideas that she has are making money, and out of that is you can live and dress yourself into that which you now always wanted to dress yourself. And so here he sees that, he gets the idea that the physical needs to be protected. And you can see there is a bear. These 2 heads, these are the eyes of a bear or of a big animal. So this awakening, there is an awakening happening within you, because this is the Wheel of Fortune that is letting you know, in the cycle, in the infinite cycle, we need to realize that we have to work with what we have. And it's already happened, the vegan clothing, the vegan leather made of mushrooms, etc., right? So it's that kind of idea that is now coming at you, because then the next step will be Libra in the next month. So Virgo is highlighting, yes, do that, do these kind of things, do these kind of shifts and changes to the way we produce clothing and jewelry, etc. Recycle and reworking, right? And so then in the next month of Libra, you have the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is a Scorpio, particularly in November. He comes and says, and then you have really fulfilled something, a deep desire within you that is just, even though there is no justice. Once we think that we can be just, we are already judging someone. There is only preciseness. There is this balancing things out of the duality. Always the dualities that you begin to see anew, right? You begin to see that duality has always 2 sides, but I can always come into my center. And so then there's an emotional fulfillment happening here with a Scorpio. If I put it now into the small cycle, so it's almost like the Scorpio is coming at you and seeing you and saying, wow, how lovely and how beautiful you are, so natural, so in your element, right? And allowing this natural path to be very appealing, to be very transformative, so that he literally is like, wow, look at that. Though he's going the big path, right? Here you keep going now the small path, and your hair is in this way, but you're looking at us. And he is actually turning his back to you, but his head is turning back to you. He noticed you. He is seeing you. Even though he's like, if he's passing by, he's like, oh, I see her. So that's the next month, that maybe in the next month there is then this king coming at you here on this beautiful horse, holding the cup of love with Cancer in it. So then comes on the position of the moon. I did make a mistake. I picked the German deck, and then I realized, oh, I picked the German deck, and then I took the English deck, and I realized both of them have the number 8. This is a clear 8, and this is a 35. And nevertheless, there is an 8-8 portal coming at you. And so now, with this 62, you have 3 times an 8-8-8 portal. So what does that mean? Here it says crown games, right? There is now something happening to you where there is power being used, right? The power has been used in this game. And here in this one it says the lost compass, getting back to integrity. It's almost saying you gotta really get back into integrity. You gotta get back through that which you proclaim as the Knight of Swords, right? You are as well on a horse. You as well have the integrity to be seen as that which you think is right, right? So here you're coming and you wanting to catch up with the king, and somehow the king is looking at you and is saying, well, stop for a moment, right? You're racing. You think you want to win the game, but it's about understanding that the game of life is that the dualities are bringing all these difficulties and these beautiful things, that everything comes and goes and nothing is ever always the same. Things are constantly changing and shifting, and that you need to find your compass, you need to find your integrity and not point the fingers at others and think that you can judge them. And that's exactly what the position of Libra says. Remember how you maybe judge others, that's how you're judging yourself. It cannot be any other way, because if you judge another person, then you have also the possibility to be that person. And on the position of the sun, so here these two come on the position of the moon, which is the card number 18, which then of course is a 9 connected with Virgo, right? The integrity to be really strong within yourself. Then on the position of the sun comes here a 42, a 6. Then you're taking a big leap into the integrity. Then you're taking a big leap that says, I want to be in the integrity. It's almost like your soul is pushing you to take that leap into the path, into the physical path, because on the spiritual path you don't really have to do that integrity, because your integrity is embedded in the soul. So here you are on the physical plane, realizing, yes, I'm going to take that jump and see what I can do for this energy that I accumulated. Because then on the position of the judgment, or the inspiration, or the the wake-up call is this angel that is coming at you, and it's almost, you had an angel here, right? The King of Cups, and you didn't have another angel. Nevertheless, you have this angel speaking to you saying, start new, right? New start. Sometimes we must realize that what we have done needs to be discarded, and we must make a new start. The number 66. So right away, there is a 666 portal coming. And there is, of course, so right away there is a 3 times 6 portal, and of course you have you, right, a 6, so you have 4 times 6, so your heart knows exactly what to do. Your heart knows that if you look deep within yourself, you know that things will not be the way you think, right? Judging someone, and these games, right? The games that we play, then when we judge someone else, and then you are realizing, okay, now I do go in this direction. I physically, yes, go in this direction, but I don't want. I want to rather go in this, and I start new, and I start fresh, and I start realizing then, because, right, this is a wake-up call to be like, this is the angel that is calling you, and here is the angel saying no. Then you discard everything that you thought about that person, let go and start fresh, because what's happening here is that you coming up again then on the position of the world, the page of voices. Then you have the voice to speak, then you're not anymore a page of swords, then you're a page of voices, and you use your voice to share with others the truth, but a truth that comes from the heart, the truth that comes from a very natural place, the truth that comes from as well a wild place, right? So you have 3 times 8, and you have 4 times 6, and that is saying, remember the heart, remember that what is it that you actually really want to tell the world about what you have realized in this reading, what you have realized through Virgo, right? Through the light of Virgo that is highlighting you and saying, hey, have a look, because now we are closing a cycle to the night, right? And so the night here is continuing, and she is literally looking at us and saying, yeah, I understand that the cycle continues. I'm looking over to the Fool who begins the path, and so the path is closing here through the world. The world is looking again at the 0, and you understand something. You really understand something, that the angel is letting you know it's this way, and then you can realize yourself in a completely new way, and also heal maybe something out of your childhood, heal something that you are ready to drop and that you are ready to let go. I hope I see you in the next reading, because then the sun, when we look at the sun, we see the constellation Libra, and in the small cycle, of course, then we have the King of Cups coming. In the big cycle, right, it's also the King of Cups, but he's already looking back at this situation, right? And here he is still looking at the situation. So on the physical plane, there's still something that this Scorpio is wanting to tell you. Remember, right? See what exactly that conversation is going to be. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.